I like blueberries. I like blueberries even more when they're free and I don't have to buy the plants. But we really got to take good care of blueberries, and I'll go over a couple of things in today's video on how to propagate them and a little bit on how to look after them. So this here is Bob the blueberry. Now I'll link to when I first put him in, and he was in quite a shady area, and as you can see, it's been a couple of years now. He is not doing well. He's alive, but he hasn't fruited much, not a lot of growth, not looking very good. But if we come down here, this is another one of my blueberry plants that I cut right back last year. It gave us heaps and heaps of blueberries, and it's in not full sun, but it gets plenty of sun during the day. So placement is really important. The other point is, of course, the soil acidity. Now, I did a check on Bob's soil mix and it was okay. We're going to move him out into sunlight now. But his soil's sitting around about a 5, which is pretty good for blueberries, 5.5. Now, what we're going to do today is try and get some more free blueberries. And I've done this before, just taking cuttings, but we'll do it slightly differently this time round. So I'm just going to do this plant today. And what we're looking for is, it's already fruited, and I want some fairly well established growth, not the new growth. And if we come in and have a look closely, we can see, that's better, the brown. The brown means it's older growth. The really old growth is almost completely brown. So we are going to take some of these, like so, and we're going to grow them in a different way. Some of them we'll do in our normal cutting way, these new growths, but these more established ones we're going to do slightly differently. So I'll take this one, and I'll take this one. What we're really trying to do is just bring it back down to a more squat bush that Rufus wants to eat. And that way we'll get lots of new growth and lots of berries next season. I'm going to take that one, which is a bit new. I'm going to take that one.
He loves blueberries.
He does like blueberries. And we've got some long ones over here. And that will do it. You see how it's nice and flat? So it'll grow out this way, and hopefully we'll get lots of blueberries on these new growths next season. So let's go and do some cuttings. So now we get to propagation, growing some more free blueberries, because these blueberry plants are horribly expensive. $40, $50 for a plant, ridiculous. And there's two methods we'll be doing. The first one is our standard young cuttings dipped in the rooting hormone and popped into a pot of acid type potting mix. So this one says rose and azalea, but that's fine. It'll do the blueberries nicely. So we'll do those in a minute. The other way is something I've been seeing, and I thought I might try out with cuttings instead of the way it's normally done. And you've probably all seen the videos on seed snails, where you sprinkle your seeds on paper, roll it up, and you let them sprout. Then you unroll it and plant them. That's nice, but I thought I'd try it with some cuttings. So what I've got here is an old bit of potting bag. This is a garden in a bag plastic, and I'm just going to lay that down. Next, we're going to lay our azalea mix, about 1/2 centimetre thick, all the way along. Which is closer to 1 inch, somewhere around there. We want to get as close to the edge as we can. Our cuttings, I've already cut these down a little bit, but we want to make sure we haven't got too many leaves on there or it'll just dry out. So I'm going to take all of those off, that large leaf, and just leave a small leaf on it. Now we'll dip it into our rooting hormone. So we can see 3 leaves on there. I'm going to take all of them off by half into our rooting compound. Half a leaf. There's a full branch, so we'll take it off here. Take some of the leaves off. There's a few I prepared a bit earlier. And we got room for a couple more. So let's take those new growth ones off. And just leave 2 half leaves. Dip it in. It's not on. Far too many leaves on that one. So you can see how we've done them. They're around about 3 inches apart, very roughly. And in this one roll, we've got 2, 4, 6, 8 of them. Something I also should have mentioned, I have sterilised the secateurs with isopropyl alcohol before I started this. What we need now is just some normal paper towels, which we lay across the top. Do a couple of layers of those. Push it all down, and now comes the hard part. We want to find the end of it, which is right there, and roll it up nice and tight. A lot of the stuff will come out, but we're not particularly worried about that. Push that in a bit. We'll fix that up in a minute. In actual fact, we'll just take those off. There we go. Let's pack it all down. We need to get some tape before we do that. We'll refill that in a minute. All right, let's just get some tape and tie it round nice and tightly. And then we'll just top up a little bit around here. There we go. And hopefully these will grow nicely. Just going to tuck that underneath. We don't want to close that off completely, but we just want to stop the soil from leaking out. So still plenty of drainage. Look what I've done, I've knocked that over. Didn't realise I'd done that. It's all right, we'll save it. So for our other one, I've just knocked over all of my rooting compound, but there wasn't much left anyway. All we're going to do is take it off. If you look at the colour of that and the thickness of that, it's fairly new growth. We shall sit that in the rooting hormone. make a little hole, and we just drop him in. Now I'm going to do probably a dozen of them in this small pot, because not all of them will live. Some will, some won't, but we'll make sure we've got enough. So I'll do that, and you guys can come back in a minute and see how it went. And there we go. Only got 9, no, I've got 12 in there. So dozen in there. Got a couple of those done. Our seed snail is done, and I've put it on a little plastic tray to keep the soil in and allow us to water a little bit easier. And I thought we'd try one really long shot since we had the cuttings. And that is the old fashioned, put them in a jar, put some water in, see if we get any roots out of it. So we're going to set these up in the greenhouse. We shall come back in a few weeks' time, see what's alive and what isn't. And hopefully we'll have lots of new hopefully we'll have lots of new blueberries to either plant or give away. So that's it. How have you gone with these? Let me know in the comments. You guys enjoy life. I'll grow some blueberries, I hope, and I'll catch you in the garden.